How many signs of the zodiac are human? 3. Out of the 12 zodiac signs, 3 are represented by human figures: Gemini, the twins; Virgo, the maiden; and Aquarius, the water-bearer. The zodiac is a belt of constellations used in astrology to chart the positions of celestial bodies. What word did the Romans have for the city of London? Londinium. Londinium was the Roman name for the settlement that would eventually become London. Founded shortly after the Roman invasion of Britain in AD 43, it served as an important port and trading center on the River Thames. Who was the first person to sail through the Northeast Passage north of Russia from Europe to the Pacific Ocean in 1878-79? Baron Adolf Nordenskjöld. Baron Adolf Nordenskjöld was a Finnish-Swedish explorer who achieved the first complete transit of the Northeast Passage in 1878-79 aboard the ship Vega. This epic voyage opened a potential sea route between Europe and Asia through the Arctic, significantly contributing to geographical knowledge and Arctic exploration. Which U.S. state borders Canada and the Connecticut River, and has the Green Mountains running through its center? Vermont. Vermont is a New England state in the northeastern United States, known for its natural landscape, which is largely covered by the Green Mountains. It shares a border with Canada to the north, and its eastern border is defined by the Connecticut River. Which German mathematician and scientist, sometimes called the Prince of Mathematicians, completed Disquisitiones Arithmetici in 1798 at the age of 21? Carl Friedrich Gauss. Carl Friedrich Gauss was a prodigious German mathematician and scientist who made profound contributions to various fields, including number theory, algebra, statistics, and astronomy. His seminal work, Disquisitiones Arithmetici, published in 1801, systematically organized number theory and is considered a foundational text in the field. Which month appears last in the rhyme, 30 days have September? February. The traditional rhyme, 30 days has September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31, save February, which has 28, and 29 in leap year, is a mnemonic used to remember the number of days in each month. In this sequence, February is explicitly mentioned as the exception and therefore appears last among the named months. A popular understanding is that the White House in Washington, D.C. was painted white to cover what damage? Burning by the British in 1812. The White House, the official residence and workplace of the President of the United States, was indeed burned by British troops during the War of 1812 in August 1814. Following its reconstruction, the building was famously painted white to cover the scorch marks and discoloration, giving it its iconic name and appearance. Vanilla is obtained from what part of the plant? Pod. Vanilla, a widely used flavoring, is derived from the fruit of vanilla orchids, primarily Vanilla planifolia. The flavor compound, vanillin, is extracted from the cuate seed pods, often referred to as beans, of the orchid, making it a unique and valuable spice. The U.S. state of Kentucky is known as the Bluegrass State. Bluegrass State. Kentucky is famously known as the Bluegrass State due to the distinct blue-green appearance of the Poa pratensis grass that thrives in its fertile soil. This nickname is deeply ingrained in the state's identity, particularly in relation to its music and horse racing traditions. Which railway, covering 4,607 miles from Chelyabinsk to Vladivostok, was completed in July 1904? Trans-Siberian Railway. The Trans-Siberian Railway, an immense engineering feat completed in July 1904, connects Western Russia with the Russian Far East. It played a crucial role in the economic and military development of the Russian Empire and remains the longest railway line in the world. Which U.S. president spent a significant part of his term of office using a wheelchair? Franklin D. Roosevelt. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd U.S. President, was afflicted with polio in 1921, which left him paralyzed from the waist down. Despite this, he served 4 terms, famously concealing the extent of his disability from the public to maintain a strong image during the Great Depression and World War II. What is the Scottish name for All Saints' Day, a Christian ceremony with origins linked to ancient pagan traditions? Halloween, or All Hallows' Eve. Halloween, originally known as All Hallows' Eve, is observed on October 31st and precedes All Saints' Day. Its traditions are deeply rooted in the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, which marked the end of summer and harvest and was believed to be a time when the boundary between the living and the dead blurred. The Christian Church later adapted these pagan customs. What treaty, signed in Paris in 1815 after the overthrow of Napoleon, saw Alexander I of Russia, Francis II of Austria, and Frederick William III of Prussia agree to govern their countries based on Christian principles? Holy Alliance. The Holy Alliance was a coalition formed by the monarchist great powers of Russia, Austria, and Prussia after Napoleon's final defeat in 1815. Proposed by Tsar Alexander I, its stated aim was to instill Christian values in European political life and international relations, effectively creating a pact of mutual assistance to suppress revolutionary and liberal movements across Europe. With whom are the islands of Elba and St. Helena historically associated? Napoleon Bonaparte. The islands of Elba and St. Helena are famously associated with Napoleon Bonaparte, serving as his places of exile. He was first exiled to Elba in 1814 after his abdication, only to escape and briefly return to power during the 100 Days. Following his final defeat at Waterloo in 1815, he was exiled to the remote island of St. Helena, where he died in 1821. What medical condition is commonly known as piles? Hemorrhoids. Piles, medically termed hemorrhoids, are swollen veins in the anus and lower rectum, similar to varicose veins. They can develop inside the rectum, internal hemorrhoids, or under the skin around the anus, external hemorrhoids. Whose death in 1972 led to the accession of Queen Margaret II of Denmark? King Frederick IX. King Frederick IX of Denmark reigned from 1947 until his death in 1972. His demise led to the succession of his eldest daughter, Margaret II, who became the first female monarch of Denmark since Margaret I. What is traditionally thrown into the Trevi Fountain in Rome? Coins. The tradition of throwing coins into the Trevi Fountain in Rome is famous worldwide. Legend holds that throwing one coin ensures a return to Rome, a second coin leads to a new romance, and a third coin guarantees marriage. Which country was provisionally divided at the 17th parallel by an agreement made in 1954 in Geneva? Vietnam. The Geneva Accords of 1954 formally ended the First Indochina War, provisionally dividing Vietnam into North and South Vietnam at the 17th parallel. This division was intended to be temporary, pending nationwide elections that ultimately never occurred, leading to the Vietnam War. By what name is the Belgian artist Georges Remy better known? Hergé. Georges Remy, a renowned Belgian cartoonist, is globally recognized by his pen name, Hergé. He is the creator of The Adventures of Tintin, one of the most popular European comic series of the 20th century. Complete Joseph Stalin's famous quotation, "One death is a tragedy, 1,000,000 deaths is a blank." Statistic. This quote, often attributed to Joseph Stalin, highlights a cynical view of human life and suffering. It suggests that individual loss evokes empathy, while mass casualties become abstract numbers, losing their emotional impact. On which dates in the Gregorian calendar do places on Earth currently experience approximately 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of night? The 20th of March and the 21st of September. These dates mark the vernal, spring, and autumnal, fall, equinoxes, respectively. During an equinox, the Earth's axis is neither tilted toward nor away from the Sun, resulting in roughly equal lengths of day and night across most parts of the globe. Complete the following geographical series: Norway, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, ______. Lithuania. This series lists countries in Northern Europe, specifically the Nordic countries, Norway, Finland, and then the Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. Lithuania is the third and southernmost of the three Baltic states. The symbol of the Olympic Games consists of 5 interlocking rings colored blue, yellow, black, green, and what other color? Red. The 5 Olympic rings represent the 5 inhabited continents of the world: Africa, the Americas, Asia, Europe, and Oceania, united by Olympism. The colors chosen, including blue, yellow, black, green, and red on a white background, ensure that at least one color from every national flag in the world is present. What tree and its fruit is also known as the butter pear and alligator pear? Avocado. The avocado, Passi americana, is a large fruit that belongs to the family Lauraceae, which includes cinnamon and bay laurel. It is known for its creamy texture and healthy fats, leading to its popular nicknames like butter pear and alligator pear, due to its shape and skin texture. The most southern part of the South American continent is on which Chilean archipelago? Tierra del Fuego. Tierra del Fuego, meaning land of fire, is an archipelago located at the southernmost tip of South America, across the Strait of Magellan. Divided between Chile and Argentina, it is known for its rugged terrain, extreme weather, and rich biodiversity, including national parks and glaciers. By 1922, Fred Astaire and his sister Adele were so popular that George and Ira Gershwin wrote Funny Face, and what other show especially for them? Lady Be Good. Lady Be Good was a groundbreaking 1924 musical comedy with music by George Gershwin and lyrics by Ira Gershwin. It starred the famous sibling dance duo Fred and Adele Astaire, solidifying their careers and contributing significantly to American musical theater history. Which U.S. holiday commemorates either a celebration by Spaniards on the 8th of September 1565 in what is now St. Augustine, Florida, the arrival of 38 English settlers at Berkeley Hundred on the 4th of December 1619, or the Pilgrims' activities in Plymouth in 1621? Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a national holiday celebrated in the United States, traditionally observed on the fourth Thursday of November. It has various historical origins, commonly associated with the 1621 harvest feast of the Pilgrims in Plymouth, Massachusetts, but also with earlier colonial celebrations of gratitude and harvest. What was the fate of Blanche in Poulenc's opera, Les Dialogues des Carmelites? She decides to go to the guillotine. Les Dialogues des Carmelites is an opera by Francis Poulenc, set during the French Revolution's reign of terror. Blanche de la Fosse, a young noblewoman seeking spiritual refuge, ultimately chooses to join her fellow Carmelite nuns in martyrdom, walking to the guillotine with courage. The first Victoria Crosses, Britain's highest military order, were made from what material? Bronze from Russian guns captured at Sebastopol. The Victoria Cross, VC, is the highest and most prestigious award of the British honours system for gallantry, in the presence of the enemy. Instituted in 1856 by Queen Victoria, the medals were originally cast from bronze taken from a Russian cannon captured during the siege of Sevastopol in the Crimean War. From 1781 until the adoption of the Constitution on the 17th of September 1787, the US government operated in terms of what document? Articles of Confederation. The Articles of Confederation served as the first Constitution of the United States, ratified in 1781. It established a weak central government with limited powers, preceding the adoption of the current U.S. Constitution in 1787, which created a stronger federal system. What small green fish with blue reflections, due to a silver longitudinal stripe that runs from the base of the caudal fin, is found in the Atlantic, Indian, and Pacific Oceans? Anchovy. Anchovies are small, schooling ray-finned fish of the family Embryolidae. They are a crucial part of marine food webs, primarily found in temperate and tropical waters of the Atlantic, Indian, and Pacific Oceans. Harvard University is located in which state of the USA? Massachusetts. Harvard University, one of the oldest and most prestigious institutions of higher education in the United States, is located in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It was founded in 1636 by the Massachusetts Bay Colony and named after its first benefactor, John Harvard. Which 20th century painter claimed to have invented a new technique called action painting, and was called by the contemporary press, Jack the Dripper? Jackson Pollock. Jackson Pollock was an influential American painter and a major figure in the abstract expressionist movement. He is renowned for his unique, action painting, technique, where he poured and dripped paint onto a canvas laid on the floor, earning him the nickname, Jack the Dripper. Who founded Answers in 1888, and later founded Amalgamated Press in the UK, which, at various times, owned the Evening News, the Daily Mail, the Daily Mirror, the Observer, and the Times? Lord Northcliffe. Alfred Harmsworth, 1st Viscount Northcliffe, was a pioneering British newspaper magnate. He founded Amalgamated Press and was instrumental in shaping modern journalism, owning influential publications like the Daily Mail and the Times, which significantly impacted public opinion and media landscapes in the early 20th century. What is the smallest state in the USA by land area? Rhode Island. Rhode Island, officially the state of Rhode Island, is the smallest state in the United States by land area. Despite its small size, it holds historical significance as one of the 13 original colonies and is known for its coastal geography and maritime heritage. What was the first item sent from L'Illustration, Paris, to the London Daily Mirror on the 8th of November 1907? Newspaper photograph by cable. The first newspaper photograph transmitted by cable was sent from Paris to London on November 8, 1907, marking a landmark event in journalism. This innovation revolutionized news reporting by allowing visual information to be quickly disseminated across international borders, enhancing the immediacy and impact of newspaper content. To which city, between June 1948 and May 1949, were over 1 million tons of food, coal, and other supplies transported daily by the aircraft of the USA, UK, and France? Berlin. This historical event is known as the Berlin Airlift, a crucial operation by Western Allies to supply West Berlin after the Soviet Union blockaded all land and water routes. It demonstrated a significant logistical achievement and a pivotal moment in the early Cold War. The Australian city of Hobart is situated on which river? Derwent. Hobart, the capital of Tasmania, Australia, is located at the mouth of the Derwent River. This river is significant for the city's port activities and hydroelectric power generation. Off which Japanese island would you find the Straits of Soya and Tsugaru? Hokkaido. Hokkaido is the second largest island of Japan, known for its vast natural landscapes. The Strait of Soya separates Hokkaido from Sakhalin Island, Russia, while the Tsugaru Strait separates Hokkaido from Honshu, Japan's main island. Who was the Bulgarian dissident poisoned with ricin when he was jabbed in the leg with an umbrella on Waterloo Bridge, London, on the 7th of September 1978? Georgy Markov. Georgy Markov was a prominent Bulgarian dissident writer and journalist who was assassinated during the Cold War. The umbrella murder, using a ricin pellet, is one of the most infamous instances of state-sponsored assassination. Which painter, born in Delft, produced works including The Woman with a Water Jug, The Pianist, and The Lace Maker? Jan Vermeer. Johannes Vermeer was a Dutch Baroque period painter who specialized in exquisite, meticulously painted domestic interior scenes of middle-class life. He is considered one of the greatest painters of the Dutch Golden Age. Under a hire purchase agreement, where an item is purchased in installments, when do the goods in question become the property of the purchaser? When it is fully paid for. A hire purchase agreement is a contract where an item is leased with an option to purchase. The goods remain the property of the seller until all installments are paid, at which point ownership legally transfers to the buyer. How did General George S. Patton, a key U.S. military leader in World War II, die? As a result of a car accident near Heidelberg, Germany, in 1945. General George S. Patton Jr. was a prominent American general during World War II, known for his leadership in tank warfare. He died from injuries sustained in a car accident in December 1945, shortly after the war's end, near Heidelberg, Germany. His death remains a subject of some historical discussion. What significant achievement did Chuck Yeager accomplish in a Bell X-1 aircraft in October 1947? He became the first person to fly faster than the speed of sound. Chuck Yeager, an American test pilot, made history on October 14, 1947, when he broke the sound barrier. Flying the Bell X-1 aircraft, he became the first human to officially exceed the speed of sound, a monumental achievement in aviation and aerospace engineering. Which Irish-born philanthropist established over 112 institutions for deprived children in the latter half of the 19th century? Dr. Thomas Bernardo. Dr. Thomas Bernardo was a prominent Irish philanthropist and founder of numerous homes for poor children in Victorian London. His work significantly influenced child welfare, as he established over 100 homes and provided care for countless vulnerable children. His legacy continues through the charity Bernardo's, which still operates today. Which influential 1907 painting by Pablo Picasso, depicting 5 nude female figures, was initially criticized for its radical departure from traditional composition, perspective, and realistic representation, introducing dislocated shapes viewed from multiple angles? Les Demoiselles d'Avignon. Les Demoiselles d'Avignon is a groundbreaking 1907 oil painting by Pablo Picasso, considered a pivotal work in the development of Cubism and modern art. It depicted 5 prostitutes from a Barcelona street and challenged conventional artistic norms by presenting fragmented, geometric forms and multiple viewpoints simultaneously. The painting's radical style initially shocked the art world but ultimately paved the way for new artistic expressions. According to biblical accounts, who was the older brother of Moses and is known for creating the golden calf for the Israelites to worship at Mount Sinai? Aaron. Aaron, the older brother of Moses, served as the first high priest of the Israelites according to the Old Testament. He is notably remembered for yielding to the people's demands and constructing a golden calf for them to worship while Moses was receiving the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai, an event that led to divine displeasure. Which English borough and market town, situated on the River Otter in Devonshire, is historically renowned for its lace-making industry? Honiton. Honiton is a historic market town in East Devon, England, famous worldwide for its intricate lacework, known as Honiton lace. This delicate bobbin lace has been produced in the area for centuries, particularly flourishing from the 17th to the 19th centuries, and remains a significant part of the town's cultural heritage. In which country was Skype, the Voice over Internet Protocol, VoIP, software facilitating telephone calls over the Internet, primarily developed? Estonia. Skype, a pioneering Voice over Internet Protocol, VoIP, service, was developed by Estonians Ahti Henla, Priiti Kaseselu, Jan Talon, and Niklas Zenström and Janus Fries. Launched in 2003, it revolutionized communication by enabling free internet-based audio and video calls, with its core development team based in Tallinn, Estonia. In the Christian liturgical calendar, on which day of Holy Week does Maundy Thursday fall? Thursday. Maundy Thursday, also known as Holy Thursday, commemorates the Last Supper of Jesus Christ with his apostles before his crucifixion. It falls on the Thursday before Easter Sunday during Holy Week and is a significant observance in Christianity, often marked by special church services and the washing of feet. After the signing of the Anglo-Ottoman Convention of 1913, Mubarak al-Sabr was recognized by the Ottomans and British as the ruler of the autonomous Khazar of which city and its hinterlands? Kuwait. The Anglo-Ottoman Convention of 1913 was a significant agreement concerning the status of Kuwait and its boundaries, reflecting the geopolitical dynamics of the time. It formally recognized Kuwait as an autonomous Khazar district, under Ottoman suzerainty but with British protection, solidifying the position of Mubarak al-Sabr. What joint is between the femur and the tibia? Knee. The knee joint is a crucial hinge joint connecting the femur, thigh bone, to the tibia, shin bone, and the patella, kneecap. It is the largest and one of the most complex joints in the human body, facilitating movement and weight bearing. How many kings of France were named Louis? 18. A total of 18 kings of France bore the name Louis, a tradition that spanned centuries and included some of the most prominent monarchs in French history. This reflects the continuity of dynastic naming conventions and the long-standing influence of various Louis on French governance and culture. City of Dreams was the second casino owned by James Packer to open in which European ex-colony? Macau, China. Macau, a former Portuguese colony, is a special administrative region of China known globally as a major gambling hub. The City of Dreams casino complex highlights the significant investment and economic activity in Macau's thriving tourism and gaming industry. The irregularity in the orbit of the planet Uranus led to what discovery? The discovery of another planet, Neptune, nearby. Observational irregularities in Uranus's orbit, specifically deviations from its predicted path, suggested the gravitational influence of an unknown celestial body. This led to mathematical predictions by Urbain Le Verrier and John Couch Adams, culminating in the telescopic discovery of Neptune in 1846 by Johann Galle. What name is given by scholars to the first 6 books of the Old Testament of the Bible? Hexatu. The term Hexatu refers to the first 6 books of the Old Testament, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, and Joshua. While the first 5 books are traditionally known as the Pentateuch or Torah, some scholars group Joshua with them due to thematic and literary connections, suggesting a continuous narrative from creation to the conquest of Canaan. Which overweight knight from 3 Shakespearean plays was the subject of an opera by Verdi? Sir John Falstaff. Sir John Falstaff is a prominent comic character appearing in 3 of Shakespeare's plays, Henry IV, Part 1, Henry IV, Part 2, and The Merry Wives of Windsor. Giuseppe Verdi's last opera, Falstaff, is a comedic masterpiece based on The Merry Wives of Windsor. Which residence of Scots kings was built next to a ruined abbey by James IV, and rebuilt by Charles II? Holyrood. The Palace of Holyrood House, commonly known as Holyrood Palace, is the official residence of the British monarch in Scotland. It originated as a monastery in 1128, later evolving into a royal palace under James IV and was significantly rebuilt by King Charles II in the 17th century. Who was the first US president to travel outside the USA while in office? Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt was the first US president to travel outside the United States while in office. His historic trip in 1906 was to inspect the construction of the Panama Canal, emphasizing its strategic importance. What is the name for the measurement and description of navigable waters necessary for safe navigation of vessels? Hydrography. Hydrography is the branch of applied sciences that deals with the measurement and description of the physical features of oceans, seas, coastal areas, lakes, and rivers, as well as the prediction of their change over time. Its primary purpose is to ensure the safety of navigation in these waters. What is the name for an elaborate seat, frequently with a canopy, strapped to the back of an elephant? Howdah. A howdah is a carriage placed on the back of an elephant or sometimes another animal, used for riding. Historically, howdahs were used for transportation by royalty or nobility in various parts of Asia, often featuring elaborate decorations and a canopy. Symptoms of what disease include fever, shivering, joint pain, vomiting, anemia, hemoglobinuria, retinal damage, and convulsions, with cyclical occurrence of sudden coldness followed by rigor, fever and sweating. Malaria. Malaria is a mosquito-borne infectious disease caused by parasitic protozoans of the Plasmodium type. It is characterized by cyclical episodes of fever, chills, and sweating, alongside other symptoms like anemia and joint pain. The disease remains a major public health challenge globally. What is a feud where the relatives of a murdered man take vengeance on the family of those who killed him, for generations? Vendetta. A vendetta is a protracted feud marked by a series of vengeful acts between families or clans. Historically, such feuds were common in societies with weak central authority, where justice was often sought through personal retribution rather than state-sanctioned legal processes. What is the subject of the study of limnology? Inland waters. Limnology is the scientific study of inland waters, including lakes, rivers, ponds, wetlands, and streams. It encompasses the biological, chemical, physical, and geological characteristics of these freshwater ecosystems, examining their interactions with the surrounding environment. Which two British Prime Ministers had the same name? William Pitt. The two British Prime Ministers named William Pitt were William Pitt the Elder, Prime Minister 1766 to 1768, and his son, William Pitt the Younger, Prime Minister 1783 to 1801 and 1804 to 1806. Both were highly influential figures during their respective eras, particularly known for their roles in foreign policy and wartime leadership. Leo Joseph Ryan Jr., the first U.S. congressman to be killed in the line of duty, was murdered where? Guyana. Leo Ryan was a U.S. congressman from California who was murdered in Guyana on November 18, 1978, while investigating the People's Temple cult led by Jim Jones. His death, along with 4 others, immediately preceded the mass suicide and murder of over 900 cult members at Jonestown, Guyana, making it a significant event in American history. Which sea is part of the Arctic Ocean north of Siberia, bounded on the west by Novaya Zemlya and to the east by the Severnaya Zemlya? Kara Sea. The Kara Sea is a marginal sea of the Arctic Ocean, located north of Siberia. It is bounded by the archipelagos of Novaya Zemlya to the west and Severnaya Zemlya to the east. This sea is significant for its potential oil and gas reserves and its role in Arctic shipping routes. Which Greek poet, 1200 to 850 BC, is famous for the poems popularly attributed to him about the siege of Troy and the wanderings of Ulysses? Homer. Homer is the legendary ancient Greek poet to whom the Iliad and the Odyssey are traditionally attributed. These epic poems, believed to have been composed between 800 and 600 BC, are foundational works of Western literature, recounting the Trojan War and the journey of Odysseus, Ulysses. Where did Horatio Nelson lose his right arm? Santa Cruz. Admiral Horatio Nelson, a renowned British naval commander, lost his right arm during the Battle of Santa Cruz de Tenerife on July 25, 1797. This significant event occurred during his attempt to capture the Spanish port in the Canary Islands. In 1492, which part of the world were the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria attempting to reach? China and India. In 1492, Christopher Columbus embarked on his first voyage with the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria, aiming to find a westward sea route to the lucrative spice markets of Asia, specifically China and India. His journey ultimately led him to the Americas, a continent previously unknown to Europeans. Which chemical process is involved in changing ethyl chloride to ethyl alcohol? Hydrolysis. The conversion of ethyl chloride to ethyl alcohol involves a hydrolysis reaction. In this process, a water molecule, H2O, reacts with the ethyl chloride, leading to the substitution of the chlorine atom by a hydroxyl O group, forming ethyl alcohol and hydrochloric acid. What is the national park in Wyoming, covering 3,350 square miles, that was opened in 1872? Yellowstone National Park. Yellowstone National Park, established on March 1, 1872, is located primarily in Wyoming and extends into Montana and Idaho. It holds the distinction of being the world's first national park, set aside for the preservation of its diverse natural beauty and unique geological features. What name is given to the Earth's outermost solid shell? Lithosphere. The lithosphere is the rigid, outermost shell of a terrestrial-type planet or natural satellite. On Earth, it comprises the crust and the uppermost mantle, acting as the major constituent of tectonic plates. Which American photographer, 1923 to 1971, was noted for her portraits of people such as transvestites, dwarfs, giants, and prostitutes in unconventional poses and settings? Diane Arbus. Diane Arbus was an influential American photographer known for her striking black and white portraits that often featured marginalized or unconventional subjects. Her work explored themes of identity, social deviance, and human individuality, making her a significant figure in 20th century photography. What strait connects the Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman? Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is a strategically vital waterway connecting the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea. It is one of the world's most important choke points for global oil shipments, crucial for international trade and energy security. What name is given to a compound of carbon and hydrogen in various proportions? Hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbons are organic compounds composed solely of hydrogen and carbon atoms. They are the primary constituents of petroleum and natural gas and are fundamental to organic chemistry and the energy industry, serving as major fuels and raw materials. Who was the son of King John and Isabella of Angoulême who became King of England when 9 years old? Henry III. Henry III was King of England, Lord of Ireland, and Duke of Aquitaine from 1216 until his death in 1272. He ascended the throne at the age of 9 following his father King John's death and faced significant baronial opposition during his long reign, leading to the early development of Parliament. In music, what does the term allegro mean? at a quick pace. In music, allegro is an Italian tempo marking meaning fast, brisk, and lively. It indicates that the piece or movement should be played at a quick and energetic pace, often between 120 to 168 beats per minute. Which country, once part of the Republic of Colombia under Simon Bolivar, became independent in 1830 and annexed the Galapagos Islands in 1832? Ecuador. Ecuador gained its independence from Gran Colombia in 1830, becoming a sovereign nation. 2 years later, it officially annexed the Galapagos Islands, establishing its claim over this unique archipelago known for its biodiversity and significant role in evolutionary theory. What is the science that deals with the principles and construction of timepieces? Horology. Horology is the scientific study of time, timekeeping, and the construction of time measuring instruments. This field encompasses the design, development, and repair of clocks, watches, and other timepieces, exploring the mechanics and history of accurate timekeeping. What was one of the biggest U.S. disasters of the 19th century in October 1871, killing hundreds and destroying about 4 square miles of city buildings? Great Chicago Fire. The Great Chicago Fire was a devastating conflagration that swept through Chicago from October 8 to 10, 1871. It killed hundreds, destroyed thousands of buildings, and left over 100,000 residents homeless. The fire played a significant role in the city's rapid reconstruction and development. Excluding Australia, what is the third largest island in the world? Borneo. Borneo is the third largest island in the world, located in Southeast Asia. It is politically divided among Malaysia, Brunei, and Indonesia. The island is known for its vast rainforests and rich biodiversity, but also faces challenges from deforestation. Groundbreaking research into American sexual habits was conducted by which couple? William Masters and Virginia Johnson. William Masters and Virginia Johnson were pioneering sexologists known for their groundbreaking research into human sexual response and dysfunction in the 1950s and 1960s. Their work significantly contributed to the understanding of human sexuality and sex therapy. Which town in Lincolnshire, UK, is the birthplace of Margaret Thatcher, and has connections with Isaac Newton, Nicholas Parsons, and Richard Todd? Grantham. Grantham is a market town in Lincolnshire, England, notable as the birthplace of former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. It also has historical links to Sir Isaac Newton, who attended the King's School in Grantham, and other prominent figures. What is the natural habitat of the electric eel? The rivers of Brazil and Guyana. The electric eel, Electrophorus electricus, is a species of electric fish found in the freshwaters of South America, specifically in the Amazon and Orinoco basins, including rivers in Brazil and the Guianas. It is renowned for its ability to generate powerful electric shocks for hunting and self-defense. Which political organization was founded by José Antonio Primo de Rivera in 1933, during the Second Spanish Republic? Falange. The Falange Española was a Spanish political organization founded in 1933 by José Antonio Primo de Rivera during the Second Spanish Republic. It was a fascist political party that played a significant role in the Spanish Civil War and later became the sole legal party under Francisco Franco's dictatorship. I want to be rich and affluent is an example of what? Malapropism. A malapropism is the mistaken use of a word in place of a similar sounding one, often with an amusing effect, as in, I want to be rich and affluent, instead of, I want to be rich and affluent. It is a common literary and rhetorical device. How did Hannibal die in 183 BC? Committed suicide. Hannibal Barca, the Carthaginian general renowned for his leadership during the Second Punic War, died in 183 BC. Facing capture by the Romans, he is believed to have committed suicide by taking poison to avoid falling into enemy hands. Which Greek mathematician, active in Alexandria during the reign of Ptolemy I and often referred to as the father of geometry, published the textbook Elements? Euclid. Euclid was a prominent Greek mathematician, often referred to as the father of geometry, who was active in Alexandria during the reign of Ptolemy I. His seminal work, Elements, is a mathematical treatise consisting of 13 books that significantly influenced the development of Western mathematics for centuries. Which country was proclaimed an independent republic under the leadership of Bernardo O'Higgins on the 12th of February 1818 after an army led by him and José de San Martin defeated the royalists? Chile. Bernardo O'Higgins and José de San Martin were pivotal figures in the South American independence movements. Their combined forces defeated the Spanish royalists, leading to Chile's declaration of independence on February 12, 1818. This event marked a crucial step in the liberation of Latin American nations from colonial rule. Honeycomb is made of wax cells in what shape? Hexagon. Honeycombs are renowned for their hexagonal cells, a shape that allows bees to store honey and pollen with maximum efficiency. This geometric structure minimizes the amount of wax needed while maximizing the storage volume, demonstrating a remarkable example of natural engineering and optimization. Hadrian's Wall, built following 122 AD, stretches for 73 miles from Solway Firth to where? Wallsend-on-Tyne. Hadrian's Wall is a significant Roman frontier fortification in Britain, constructed under Emperor Hadrian from 122 AD. Stretching 73 miles from Solway Firth to Wallsend-on-Tyne, it marked the northern limit of the Roman Empire and served as a defensive barrier against Pictish tribes. Today, it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Who was the first General Secretary of the International Olympic Committee and later became its president, serving until 1924? Baron de Coubertin. Pierre de Coubertin, a French educator and historian, is widely regarded as the founder of the modern Olympic Games. He served as the first General Secretary and later as President of the International Olympic Committee, IOC, until 1924. Playing a crucial role in shaping the modern Olympic movement and its core values. Which US-born naturalized Briton wrote Murder in the Cathedral, The Cocktail Party, and The Wasteland? T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot was a Nobel Prize-winning poet, essayist, publisher, playwright, literary critic, and editor. Born in the US but later a naturalized British subject, he was a central figure in English-language modernist poetry. His works like The Wasteland and Murder in the Cathedral are considered seminal literary achievements of the 20th century. If someone is injured and the blood flow is bright red and coming out in regular spurts, where is it coming from? Artery. Bright red blood spurting rhythmically indicates arterial bleeding, which is a medical emergency. Arteries carry oxygenated blood directly from the heart, resulting in high pressure and a pulsating flow. Immediate medical attention is crucial to control significant blood loss and prevent severe consequences. What did Shakespeare compare Katharina to? Shrew. In William Shakespeare's play, The Taming of the Shrew, Katharina is initially portrayed as a shrew, a term used to describe a bad-tempered or habitually nagging woman. The play explores themes of societal expectations for women, marriage, and conformity in the Elizabethan era, sparking ongoing debate about its themes and characters. What is the name of the system of lakes, canals, and rivers that enables shipping to get from the Atlantic to as far as Duluth, Minnesota, on Lake Superior? St. Lawrence Seaway. The St. Lawrence Seaway is a system of locks, canals, and channels that permits ocean-going vessels to travel from the Atlantic Ocean to the Great Lakes, deep into North America. Jointly maintained by Canada and the United States, it is a crucial waterway for shipping, connecting the industrial heartland of both countries to international markets. Who established a precision tool-making business in Manchester in 1883, and perfected a system of standard measurements and gauges? Joseph Whitworth. Joseph Whitworth was a prominent English engineer and entrepreneur known for standardizing screw threads and introducing precision measurement tools. His work significantly impacted industrial manufacturing by promoting the interchangeability of machine parts, crucial for the Second Industrial Revolution. Which calendar, introduced in 46 BC, had a regular year of 365 days divided into 12 months, and a leap day added to February every 4 years? Julian calendar. The Julian calendar was introduced by Julius Caesar in 46 BC, becoming effective in 45 BC. It was a solar calendar, remaining the predominant calendar in most of Europe until the adoption of the Gregorian calendar in 1582. Which song was sung by Aretha Franklin just before Barack Obama was sworn in as President of the USA in 2009? My Country, 'Tis of Thee. Aretha Franklin performed My Country, 'Tis of Thee at Barack Obama's first presidential inauguration in 2009. This powerful rendition became a memorable cultural highlight of the historic event, symbolizing national unity and hope. What expression is used to signify the obligations of the aristocracy to those less privileged? Noblesse oblige. Noblesse oblige is a French expression literally meaning, nobility obliges. It signifies that privilege entails responsibility, particularly for those of noble birth or high social standing, to act honorably and generously towards others, embodying a sense of social duty. What is the coastal region of Turkey, Syria, Lebanon and Israel known as? The Levant. The Levant is a geographical and cultural region comprising the historical areas along the eastern Mediterranean shores, including present-day Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Palestine, and Jordan. It has been a crossroads of civilizations for millennia, holding significant historical and geopolitical importance. Who ordered the execution of Catherine Howard in 1542? Henry VIII. Catherine Howard was the fifth wife of King Henry VIII of England. She was executed for treason on February 13, 1542, after being accused of adultery, a charge that carried severe penalties under Tudor law and reflected the monarch's absolute power. What wood, a member of the walnut family, is often used in making tool handles, wheel spokes, drumsticks, lacrosse stick handles and skis? Hickory. Hickory is a type of wood renowned for its exceptional strength, hardness, and shock resistance. These properties make it highly valued for manufacturing tool handles, sports equipment like drumsticks and lacrosse sticks, and other applications requiring durable and resilient material. Who was the chief deity of the Romans, the equivalent to the Greeks' Zeus? Jupiter. Jupiter was the king of the gods in ancient Roman religion and mythology, often equated with the Greek god Zeus. He was the god of sky and thunder, and the patron deity of Rome, representing law, order, and justice. What is A in the International Radio Alphabet? Alpha. The International Radio Alphabet, officially known as the NATO Phonetic Alphabet, assigns a unique word to each letter of the English alphabet to ensure clear communication, especially in aviation and military contexts. Alpha is the word assigned to the letter A, helping to avoid misinterpretations due to similar sounding letters. Viewed from Earth, Venus crosses the Sun twice every 100 to 120 years or so, about 8 years apart. The next is on the 10th to the 11th of December 2117. When was the last? The 5th to the 6th of June 2012. A transit of Venus is a rare astronomical phenomenon where Venus passes directly between the Sun and Earth, appearing as a small black dot moving across the Sun's face. These transits occur in pairs, about 8 years apart, with over a century separating each pair. The last pair of transits occurred in June 2004 and June 2012, making the next one not until December 2117. Who was physician to James I and Charles I, and whose chief discovery was to describe completely and in detail the systemic circulation and properties of blood being pumped to the brain and body by the heart, which he published in 1628? William Harvey. William Harvey, an English physician, is renowned for his detailed and accurate description of the systemic circulation and the properties of blood being pumped through the body by the heart. His seminal work, Exercitatio Anatomica de Motu Cordis et Sanguinis in Animalibus, Anatomical Exercise on the Motion of the Heart and Blood in Animals, published in 1628, laid the foundation for modern physiology and medicine. The Union Jack, the British flag, is a combination of flags of different saints. Where does the blue come from? Saint Andrew. The Union Jack, the national flag of the United Kingdom, is a composite design combining the flags of England, St. George's Cross, Scotland, St. Andrew's Cross, and Northern Ireland, St. Patrick's Cross. The blue background of the Union Jack specifically originates from the flag of St. Andrew, representing Scotland. Lake Huron is connected by the Sault Ste. Marie Canal to which other lake? Superior. The Sault Ste. Marie Canals, or Soo locks, are a set of parallel locks that enable ships to travel between Lake Superior and the lower Great Lakes, Lake Huron and Lake Michigan. These canals are crucial for commercial shipping, bypassing the rapids of the St. Mary's River, which connects Lake Superior to Lake Huron. For a constant sound wave, what is the distance between successive crests called? Wavelength. Wavelength is a fundamental property of waves, representing the spatial period of a periodic wave. It is typically measured from crest to crest or trough to trough and is inversely proportional to the frequency of the wave. Who were the brothers of Helen of Troy? Castor and Pollux. In Greek mythology, Castor and Pollux, collectively known as the Dioscuri, were twin brothers, sons of Leda. Helen of Troy was their sister, known for her role in the Trojan War. What appeared in a newspaper for the first time on the 22nd of March 1904 in the use as Daily Illustrated Mirror? Color photographs. The advent of color photography in newspapers marked a significant milestone in journalism and printing technology. This innovation enhanced visual appeal and provided readers with a more vibrant and detailed representation of news events. What is the next in the series? Innsbruck, Austria; Grenoble, France; Sapporo, Japan; Innsbruck, Austria. Lake Placid, United States. This series lists host cities for the Winter Olympic Games in chronological order. Innsbruck, 1964, Grenoble, 1968, Sapporo, 1972, Innsbruck, 1976. Following this sequence, Lake Placid, United States, hosted the Winter Olympics in 1980. Which Latin poet wrote satires, epodes, epistles, and Carmen Seculare? Horace. Quintus Horatius Flaccus, commonly known as Horace, was a leading Roman lyric poet during the time of Augustus. His works, including satires and odes, are renowned for their elegance, wit, and philosophical insights into Roman society and human nature. What name is given to an ambassador to Great Britain who is representing a country that is a member of the British Commonwealth? High Commissioner. A High Commissioner is the head of a diplomatic mission from one Commonwealth country to another. Unlike ambassadors who represent non-Commonwealth nations, High Commissioners signify the special historical and ongoing relationship between Commonwealth member states. Which species of llama from Peru and Chile is known for its soft, fine hair? Vacuna. The vacuna is a wild South American camelid, native to the high alpine areas of the Andes. It is prized for its extremely soft and warm wool, considered among the finest natural fibers in the world, leading to its historical significance and conservation efforts. What was the name of the hurricane that badly damaged New Orleans in 2005? Katrina. Hurricane Katrina was a devastating Category 5 Atlantic hurricane that made landfall in August 2005, causing catastrophic damage and loss of life, particularly in New Orleans, Louisiana, due to widespread levee failures. It remains one of the costliest natural disasters in U.S. history. What is the smallest country in land area on the South American continent? French Guiana. French Guiana is an overseas department and region of France, located on the northeastern Atlantic coast of South America. While not an independent country, it is geographically situated on the continent and is the smallest territory by land area. The United Nations Declaration was signed by 4 nations and subsequently co-signed by a further 22 in Washington, D.C. on which 2 days? The 1st to the 2nd of January 1942. The declaration by United Nations was a pivotal document signed by 26 allied nations on January 1–2, 1942, during World War II. This declaration formalized their commitment to fight the Axis powers and laid the groundwork for the establishment of the United Nations organization. What geographical feature necessitates driving through Alabama to take the shortest route from Miami, Florida to Houston, Texas? Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico significantly impedes a direct overland route between Miami, Florida, and Houston, Texas. Consequently, to travel by road, one must circumnavigate the Gulf, necessitating passage through states like Alabama, which is situated north of the Gulf coastline. What name is given to a chemical compound in which water combines with other substances without alteration of the arrangement of the atoms in the water? Hydrate. A hydrate is a chemical compound that contains water molecules loosely bonded within its crystal structure or as part of its molecular composition. The water molecules in a hydrate are typically incorporated without undergoing chemical reactions that alter their atomic arrangement. Where was the first Surf Bathers Life-Saving Club founded? Bondi, Sydney, Australia. The first Surf Bathers Life-Saving Club was established at Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia, in 1906. This marked a significant milestone in the development of organized surf life-saving, leading to the formation of similar clubs globally and playing a crucial role in beach safety. Who, according to legend, discovered the principles of buoyancy while having a bath? Archimedes. Archimedes, an ancient Greek mathematician, physicist, engineer, inventor, and astronomer, is credited with discovering the principle of buoyancy. Legend states he realized this while taking a bath, observing that the water level rose as he entered, and famously exclaimed, "Eureka! I have found it." On the 3rd of November 1902, a telephone cable was opened between Vancouver, Canada, and where? Queensland, Australia. On November 3, 1902, the All Red Line, a significant telegraph cable network, completed its final leg by connecting Vancouver, Canada, to Queensland, Australia. This trans-Pacific cable vastly improved communication within the British Empire, facilitating faster information exchange between distant continents. What is the capital of the province of British Columbia, Canada? Victoria. Victoria is the capital city of British Columbia, Canada, located on the southern tip of Vancouver Island. It serves as the provincial government seat and is a major tourist destination known for its historic architecture, gardens, and vibrant arts scene. In traditional English pantomime, which shrewd, witty, light-hearted character vied with Piero for the affection of Columbine, and was based on the commedia dell'arte character Arlecchino? Harlequin. Harlequin is a principal character in traditional English pantomime, descended from the Italian commedia dell'arte character Arlecchino. Known for his colorful, checkered costume, wit, and acrobatic antics, he typically forms a love triangle with Columbine and the melancholy Piero. The city of Miami, Florida, is at the mouth of which river? Miami River. The city of Miami, Florida, is situated at the mouth of the Miami River, where it flows into Biscayne Bay. This river historically played a crucial role in the area's development, serving as a waterway for indigenous tribes and later for commerce and trade. While most juries can only provide a verdict of guilty or not guilty, in which country can a jury decide not proven? Scotland. In Scotland's unique legal system, a jury can deliver three possible verdicts: guilty, not guilty, or not proven. The not proven verdict, though legally equivalent to not guilty, in resulting in acquittal, signifies that the jury believes the prosecution has not adequately proved guilt, leaving open the possibility of factual guilt. Who was the pilot of the US Airways plane that landed on the Hudson River in January 2009? Chesley Sullenberger. The "Miracle on the Hudson" refers to the successful emergency landing of US Airways Flight 1549 on the Hudson River in January 2009. Captain Chesley Sullenberger, the pilot, safely landed the plane after both engines failed due to bird strikes, saving all 155 people on board. What name is given to the potential difference measured across a conductor of 1 ohm resistance when current of 1 ampere is flowing? Volt. This definition relates to Ohm's law, a fundamental principle in electricity. 1 volt, V, is the unit of electric potential difference or electromotive force, defined as the potential difference across an electrical conductor when a current of 1 ampere, A, dissipates 1 watt, W, of power. The Christian festival of Easter Sunday occurs on which day? The first Sunday after the full moon following the vernal equinox. Easter Sunday's date is not fixed to a specific calendar day but is determined by a lunisolar computation. It is traditionally observed on the first Sunday after the Paschal full moon, which is the first ecclesiastical full moon occurring on or after the vernal, spring, equinox. This calculation ensures its observance within a specific astronomical and ecclesiastical window. Why is the most southern part on the South American continent, Cape Horn, so called? It was named by a Dutch sailor who was born in Horn. Cape Horn, the southernmost headland of the Tierra del Fuego archipelago, was named by Dutch navigator Willem Schutten in 1616. He named it after his birthplace, the city of Horn in the Netherlands. It historically marked a dangerous yet crucial passage for sailing ships traveling around the world. What is a word for giddiness, often associated with a disease of the inner ear? Vertigo. Vertigo is a sensation of spinning or feeling off balance, often indicating a problem with the vestibular system, primarily located in the inner ear. Conditions like benign paroxysmal positional vertigo, BPPV, or Meniere's disease, which affect the inner ear, are common causes. Which English barrister, who wrote the play, Voyage Around My Father, and the TV series, Rumpole of the Bailey, died in January 2009? John Mortimer. Sir John Mortimer was a distinguished English barrister, dramatist, and novelist, widely recognized for creating the iconic legal character Horace Rumpole in Rumpole of the Bailey. His autobiographical play, A Voyage Round My Father, also cemented his reputation as a significant literary and legal figure of the 20th century. The governor of which state was removed from office by the state senate in January 2009? Illinois. In January 2009, Rod Blagojevich, the then governor of Illinois, was impeached and removed from office by the state Senate. This historic event was triggered by charges of corruption, notably allegations of attempting to sell the vacant U.S. Senate seat previously held by Barack Obama. What measure is used to quantify the thermal insulation or warmth of a duvet? TOG. TOG is a recognized unit of thermal insulance, primarily used in the textile industry to measure the warmth of duvets, blankets, and sleeping bags. A higher TOG rating indicates greater thermal resistance, meaning the duvet provides more insulation and warmth. Who authored the renowned Uncle Remus stories? Joel Chandler Harris. Joel Chandler Harris was an American journalist, short story writer, and folklorist, best known for his collection of Uncle Remus stories. These tales, featuring characters like Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox, are significant contributions to American folklore and children's literature, preserving African American oral storytelling traditions. Which ancient Roman festival, an archaic rite associated with fertility observed from February 13 to 15, is generally believed to have been adapted by the Roman Catholic Church, eventually leading to Saint Valentine's Day? Lupercalia. Lupercalia was an ancient Roman festival celebrated annually from February 13 to 15, primarily associated with fertility, health, and purification. While its direct conversion to Saint Valentine's Day is debated, some historians suggest the festival's timing and focus on fertility rites may have influenced the Christian observance of love and affection. Tinnitus is a medical condition that primarily affects which part of the human body? Ears. Tinnitus is the perception of noise or ringing in the ears when no external sound is present. It is often a symptom of an underlying condition, such as age-related hearing loss, ear injury, or a circulatory system disorder, impacting the auditory system. Which award-winning building, constructed in the 1980s directly beneath Waterloo Bridge in London, famously developed stalactites due to water seeping through the bridge structure? Museum of the Moving Image. The Museum of the Moving Image, MoMI, was a prominent London museum, operational from 1988 to 1999, dedicated to the history of film and television. Its unique architectural placement beneath Waterloo Bridge led to the formation of stalactites from water leakage, making it a distinctive landmark of its time. Broadcasting from Germany to England in English during 1940, by what notorious name was William Joyce more commonly known? Lord Haw-Haw. William Joyce was an American-born fascist politician who gained notoriety as Lord Haw-Haw for his pro-Nazi propaganda broadcasts from Germany to Britain during World War II. His distinctive, upper-class English accent and taunting messages made him a significant figure in wartime propaganda, for which he was later executed for treason. What is the name of the type of curve traced by a point on a rolling wheel? Cycloid. A cycloid is the curve traced by a point on the circumference of a circle as it rolls along a straight line without slipping. This curve possesses unique mathematical properties, notably being the brachistochrone curve, which represents the path of fastest descent under gravity. Which painter, designer of stained glass and engraver born in Augsburg, Germany, became painter to the court of Henry VIII and died of the plague in 1543? Hans Holbein. Hans Holbein the Younger was a German painter and printmaker renowned for his Northern Renaissance style. He is most famous for his meticulous portraits of King Henry VIII and his court, capturing the likeness of many prominent figures of the era. Which Great Fire is believed to have started at the bakery of Thomas Fariner, or Farner, on Pudding Lane? London. The Great Fire of London occurred in 1666, devastating a large part of the city. Originating in a bakery on Pudding Lane, the fire spread rapidly due to strong winds and the prevalent timber construction, leading to significant urban reconstruction. What was notable about the embrace on the podium after the medal ceremony for the 10-meter air pistol competition at the 2008 Summer Olympics in Beijing between Nino Saluquadza, bronze, and Natalia Paderina, silver? There was disagreement between the countries they represented. During the 2008 Beijing Olympics, Georgian shooter Nino Saluquadza and Russian shooter Natalia Paderina embraced on the podium despite their nations being engaged in a military conflict, the Russo-Georgian War, at the time. This act of sportsmanship was widely seen as a poignant symbol of peace amidst geopolitical tension. Under English law, what was the earliest date that a woman could obtain a divorce with the sole ground of adultery? 1923. The Matrimonial Causes Act of 1923 in England marked a significant reform in divorce law, granting women the right to petition for divorce solely on the grounds of their husband's adultery. Prior to this, women had to prove additional transgressions like cruelty or desertion, unlike men who could divorce on adultery alone since 1857. What conflict in 1935 resulted in Mussolini annexing a large African territory for Italy, withdrawing in 1941? Abyssinian War. The Second Italo-Ethiopian War, also known as the Abyssinian War, was a colonial conflict fought between Italy and the Ethiopian Empire from 1935 to 1936. Italy's victory led to the annexation of Abyssinia, Ethiopia, into Italian East Africa, a move that highlighted the ineffectiveness of the League of Nations in preventing aggression. In 1957, how many states comprised the United States of America? 48. In 1957, the United States consisted of 48 contiguous states. This number changed in 1959 with the admission of Alaska and Hawaii, which became the 49th and 50th states respectively. Altogether, how many strings are there on the four instruments in a traditional string quartet? 16. A traditional string quartet is comprised of 2 violins, 1 viola, and 1 cello. As each of these instruments typically has 4 strings, the ensemble collectively features a total of 16 strings. What town in South Australia has served as a weapons testing range since the 1950s, was the site of a detention facility for asylum seekers and refugees from 1999 to 2003, and was home to the Noongar satellite ground station until 1999? Woomera. Woomera, South Australia, is a significant location with a multifaceted history. It is renowned for its long-standing role as a weapons testing range, its controversial use as an asylum seeker detention center, and its strategic importance as the former site of the Noongar satellite ground station. Who led the expedition that discovered the wreck of the RMS Titanic on the bed of the Atlantic Ocean? Robert Ballard. Robert Ballard is an acclaimed American oceanographer and marine archaeologist. He achieved international recognition for leading the expedition that successfully located the wreck of the RMS Titanic on September 1, 1985, at a depth of approximately 3,800 meters in the North Atlantic. What infectious disease, caused by a virus, is characterized by the eruption of successive crops of blisters? Chickenpox. Chickenpox, or varicella, is a highly contagious disease caused by the varicella zoster virus. It presents with a distinctive itchy rash of fluid-filled blisters that appear in successive waves, along with fever and fatigue. In September 1905, the government of New South Wales, Australia, voted to acquire 1,000 miles of netting in an attempt to control what pest? Rabbits. In the early 20th century, Australia faced a severe ecological crisis due to the rampant proliferation of European rabbits, introduced decades prior. Their destructive impact on agriculture and native ecosystems led the New South Wales government in 1905 to propose extensive fencing as a control measure. Matricide takes place when someone kills their mother. Matricide is a specific legal and sociological term that refers to the act of a person killing their own mother. It is a subset of the broader term parricide, which encompasses the killing of any parent. Who was elected Vice-Chancellor by the Swiss Federal Assembly in August 2005 and became Federal Chancellor of Switzerland in December 2007? Corina Casanova. Corina Casanova served as Federal Chancellor of Switzerland from 2008 to 2015. The Federal Chancellor is the head of the Federal Chancellery, which is the general staff of the Swiss Federal Council. This position plays a crucial administrative role in the Swiss federal government, similar to a chief of staff. What is unusual about the Saint-Pierre and Miquelon Islands, which are only 25 kilometers, 16 miles, south of Newfoundland? They are French. Saint-Pierre and Miquelon is a self-governing territorial overseas collectivity of France, located near the coast of Newfoundland, Canada. It represents the last remaining portion of New France in North America. Its unique status highlights a vestige of colonial history and ongoing French sovereignty in the region. Who wrote, "Other people see things and say, why? But I dream things that never were and say, why not?" George Bernard Shaw. This famous quote is attributed to George Bernard Shaw, a renowned Irish playwright and critic, and Nobel Prize laureate in literature. It encapsulates a spirit of innovation and idealism, encouraging individuals to challenge the status quo and envision new possibilities. Until 1992, TASS was the official news agency for which organization? Soviet Union. TASS, or Telegraph Agency of the Soviet Union, was the central news agency of the Soviet Union from 1925 until 1992. It played a crucial role in disseminating official state information and propaganda during the Soviet era. After the dissolution of the Soviet Union, it was succeeded by ITR TASS, now simply TASS, continuing as Russia's state news agency. Which French scientist invented the first satisfactory revolving light for use in lighthouses, and has a type of theater light named after him? Augustin-Jean Fresnel. Augustin-Jean Fresnel was a French physicist who made significant contributions to the field of optics. He is best known for his work on the wave theory of light, developing the Fresnel lens, which revolutionized lighthouse technology by greatly increasing the range and visibility of the light source. Fresnel is also credited with inventing the first satisfactory revolving light for lighthouses, and his name is also associated with a type of spotlight used in theater and film. Of the 16 states of Germany, 13 are termed area states, Flächenländer. What are the other 3? City states. Germany is a federal republic comprising 16 states, Bundesländer. While most are area states, Flächenländer, 3 are city states, Stadtstaaten, Berlin, Hamburg, and Bremen. This distinction reflects their status as cities that also function as independent states within the German Federation, highlighting a unique aspect of German political geography. What were first established by Saint Bell at Lyon, France, in 1762, and at London in 1790? Veterinary colleges. Claude Bergolet established the world's first veterinary school in Lyon, France, in 1762, marking a significant development in organized animal healthcare and medical education. The establishment of these colleges laid the foundation for systematic veterinary science and practice. What is the cube of 100? 1 million. The cube of a number is the result of multiplying the number by itself 3 times. For example, 100 cubed is 100 multiplied by 100, and that result multiplied by 100 again, which equals 1 million. This is a fundamental concept in basic mathematics. What is the name of the swampy area in Florida, south of Lake Okeechobee? Everglades. The Everglades is a vast tropical wetland ecosystem located in the southern portion of Florida, USA. Renowned for its unique biodiversity, including alligators, panthers, and diverse bird species, it is a critical ecological region facing significant conservation challenges. Who is traditionally known as the father of history? Herodotus. Herodotus was an ancient Greek historian who lived in the 5th century BC. He is widely referred to as the father of history due to his pioneering work, the Histories, which documented the Greco-Persian Wars and provided a detailed account of various cultures and events. Around 2000 of which type of rocket-propelled pilotless bomb was launched on London from the 8th of September 1944 to March 1945? V-2. The V-2 rocket was a ballistic missile developed by Nazi Germany during World War II, primarily used to bomb Allied cities like London. It was the world's first long-range guided ballistic missile and a precursor to modern rocketry, demonstrating significant advancements in missile technology. In which state of the USA would you find Yosemite National Park? California. Yosemite National Park, located in California's Sierra Nevada mountains, is renowned for its spectacular granite cliffs, giant sequoia groves, waterfalls, and biological diversity. It was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1984, recognized for its unique geological formations and rich ecosystems. What is the greatest distance between a capital and one of its territories? Paris to New Caledonia. The distance between Paris, France, and its overseas territory of New Caledonia in the South Pacific Ocean represents one of the longest geographical stretches between a metropolitan capital and its administered territory. This highlights the extensive reach of former colonial powers and the contemporary administrative structures of nations like France, which maintain overseas departments and territories across the globe. Which empire, established in and around Cappadocia, was powerful in Asia Minor from 1400 to 1200 BC? Hittite. The Hittite Empire was a major power during the Late Bronze Age, known for its innovations in ironworking and military prowess. Centered in Anatolia, modern-day Turkey, they established a vast empire and famously engaged in the Battle of Kadesh with ancient Egypt, one of the earliest well-documented battles in history. Which English lawyer authored Decameron, Pygmalion and Galata, and The Wicked World, before achieving fame as a librettist and lyricist for comic operas? W. S. Gilbert. W. S. Gilbert was an acclaimed English dramatist, librettist, and poet, best known for his 14 comic opera collaborations with composer Arthur Sullivan, including The Pirates of Penzance and The Mikado. Their works, known as the Savoy Operas, remain highly popular and influential in the history of English musical theatre. Which 19th century scientist formulated the laws of thermodynamics and was ennobled as a baron in 1892? William Calvin. William Thomson, later Lord Calvin, was a pivotal Scottish physicist, mathematician, and engineer who made significant contributions to the fields of thermodynamics and electricity. He is best known for developing the absolute temperature scale, which is named after him as the Calvin scale, and for his work on the first and second laws of thermodynamics. What small, oily fish, of which there are 15 species, found in the shallow, temperate waters of the North Atlantic, the Baltic Sea, the North Pacific, and the Mediterranean, move in vast schools, coming in spring to the shores of Europe and America? Herring. Herring are small, schooling forage fish belonging to the Clypeaidae family, vital to marine ecosystems and commercial fisheries. They are known for their vast migrations in temperate waters, serving as a key food source for larger predators and humans alike. Boadicea, queen of the Iceni, is famous for leading resistance to the invasion of Britain by whom? Romans. Boudica, also spelled Boadicea, was a queen of the Iceni tribe who led a major uprising against the invading forces of the Roman Empire in Britannia around 60-61 AD. Her rebellion, though ultimately suppressed, remains a significant historical event and a symbol of British resistance. What is the next in this series? Los Angeles, Seoul, Barcelona, Atlanta, Sydney. This series represents the host cities for consecutive Summer Olympic Games: Los Angeles, 1984, Seoul, 1988, Barcelona, 1992, and Atlanta, 1996. Following this sequence, Sydney, Australia, hosted the Summer Olympics in the year 2000. Which metal is liquid at room temperature? Mercury. Mercury, Hg, is a unique metallic element renowned for being liquid at standard room temperature and pressure. This distinct physical property has made it useful in thermometers, barometers, and various other scientific instruments, despite its known toxicity. For administrative purposes, France is subdivided into 100 areas which are called what? Departments. France is administratively divided into 101 departments, including overseas departments, which are territorial subdivisions of its regions. These departments, largely established during the French Revolution, serve as crucial units for local governance and administration. Which Norwegian playwright wrote Hedda Gabler, The Master Builder, and Peer Gynt? Henrik Ibsen. Henrik Ibsen was a seminal Norwegian playwright, often regarded as one of the most influential figures in the development of modern drama. His works, including Hedda Gabler, The Master Builder, and Peer Gynt, are celebrated for their psychological realism and critical examination of societal norms. Who led the mutiny on HMS Bounty on the 28th of April 1789? Fletcher Christian. The mutiny on HMS Bounty was a famous uprising aboard a British Royal Navy ship on the 28th of April 1789. Led by Fletcher Christian against Lieutenant William Bligh, it resulted in Bligh and 18 loyal crewmen being cast adrift, while the mutineers eventually settled on Pitcairn Island. What is the name of the statue that was unveiled in October 1886, on Bedloe Island? Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty, formerly titled, Liberty Enlightening the World, was a gift from France to the United States and was dedicated on October 28, 1886. Located on Liberty Island, formerly Bedloe's Island, in New York Harbor, it symbolizes freedom and democracy. What is the capital of the province of Ontario, Canada? Toronto. Toronto is the provincial capital of Ontario and the most populous city in Canada. It is a major international center for business, finance, arts, and culture, and is home to a diverse population. What name was given to the architectural style adopted in Britain from 1714 to 1820, largely due to the influence of Sir Christopher Wren? Georgian. Georgian architecture refers to the set of architectural styles prevalent in Great Britain between 1714 and 1830, named after the four successive British monarchs of the House of Hanover named George. Influenced by classical Greek and Roman forms and Palladianism, it is characterized by symmetry, proportion, and often brick or stucco facades. What is the only venomous lizard native to the USA? Gila monster. The Gila monster, Heloderma suspectum, is the only venomous lizard native to the United States. Found in the southwestern US and northwestern Mexico, it is known for its distinctive black and orange pattern and a potent neurotoxic venom delivered through grooves in its lower jaw teeth. What is the former name of Helsinki, Finland? Helsingfors. Helsingfors is the Swedish name for the city of Helsinki, the capital of Finland. Finland is a bilingual country with Finnish and Swedish as official languages, and many cities retain their historical Swedish names. Who became the King of Spain on the 22nd of November 1975, 2 days after the death of Francisco Franco? King Juan Carlos I. King Juan Carlos I's ascension marked the restoration of the monarchy in Spain after Francisco Franco's dictatorship. His reign played a crucial role in Spain's transition to democracy, often referred to as the Spanish transition, Transición Española. In 1434, Portuguese mariner Gil Aines made a major breakthrough to obtain a reliable trade route to western and eastern Africa and India by finding a route around which Cape Bojador. Gil Aines's successful navigation around Cape Bojador in 1434 was a significant milestone in the Portuguese age of discovery. This achievement dispelled myths about the Cape being impassable and opened up the west coast of Africa for further exploration and the establishment of new trade routes. Which 17th-century philosopher, mathematician, scientist, and writer invented the notation which uses superscripts to show powers or exponents, e.g., the 2 used in x squared to indicate squaring? René Descartes. René Descartes, a prominent figure in 17th-century philosophy and mathematics, is credited with introducing the use of superscripts for exponents. This notation, which significantly simplified algebraic expressions, is a cornerstone of modern mathematical language and contributed greatly to the development of analytical geometry. The ozone molecule is made up of 3 atoms, of which gas? Oxygen. Ozone, O3, is an allotrope of oxygen, meaning it's a different structural form of the same element. It plays a critical role in the Earth's stratosphere, forming the ozone layer which absorbs most of the sun's harmful ultraviolet, UV, radiation, protecting life on Earth. Where was the Congress held in 1814-15, chiefly between Britain, France, Russia, Austria, and Prussia, that adjusted frontiers after the fall of Napoleon? Vienna. The Congress of Vienna, held from 1814 to 1815, was a landmark conference of ambassadors of European states. Its objective was to provide a long-term peace plan for Europe by settling critical issues arising from the French Revolutionary Wars and the Napoleonic Wars, primarily by redrawing political maps and restoring monarchies. The samba originated in which country? Brazil. Samba is a vibrant and iconic Brazilian musical genre and dance style, deeply rooted in African and Afro-Brazilian cultural traditions. It is widely recognized as a symbol of Brazil's national identity, particularly associated with the annual Carnival celebrations. The Great Lakes are called Superior, Erie, Ontario, and which other? Michigan. The Great Lakes are a series of interconnected freshwater lakes located primarily in North America along the Canada-United States border. They consist of 5 main lakes: Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, and Ontario, forming the largest group of freshwater lakes on Earth by total area. Why did Captain James Cook name the Hawaiian Islands, the Sandwich Islands, on his discovery of them on the 18th of January 1778? He named them for John Montagu. Captain James Cook named the Hawaiian Islands, the Sandwich Islands, in 1778 after John Montagu, 4th Earl of Sandwich, who was the first Lord of the Admiralty at the time. This was a common practice for explorers to honor patrons or significant figures. What is the name for an intermittent hot spring, characterized by violent explosive eruptions of steam in boiling water, alternating with quiet periods? Geyser. A geyser is a rare type of hot spring that is under pressure and erupts, sending jets of water and steam into the air. These eruptions are caused by groundwater heating up beneath the Earth's surface and building pressure, often in volcanic areas. Who preceded George W. Bush as President of the USA? Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton served as the 42nd President of the United States from 1993 to 2001. He was succeeded by George W. Bush, who became the 43rd President and served from 2001 to 2009. What, if decreased, will lower the boiling point of water? Pressure. The boiling point of water is directly related to atmospheric pressure. Lowering the pressure, such as at higher altitudes, reduces the energy required for water molecules to escape as vapor, thus lowering its boiling point. The Dominican Republic and Haiti are the two countries that occupy which island? Hispaniola. Hispaniola is a major Caribbean island shared by two sovereign nations, the Dominican Republic, which occupies the eastern two-thirds, and Haiti, occupying the western third. It is the second largest island in the Caribbean. At the end of the War of 1812, the USA held Canadian territory near Detroit, and the British held parts of which eastern state? Maine. The War of 1812 resulted in a complex territorial situation. While the USA occupied some Canadian territory, British forces occupied parts of Maine, specifically areas east of the Penobscot River. The Treaty of Ghent, which ended the war, generally restored territories to their pre-war status quo. What is the deepest lake in the world? Lake Baikal. Lake Baikal, located in Siberia, Russia, is the world's deepest and oldest freshwater lake, holding about 20% of the world's unfrozen freshwater. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its unique biodiversity. Which island fort, built to protect the port of Charleston, South Carolina, USA, was the site of the first action in the American Civil War? Fort Sumter. Fort Sumter, located in Charleston Harbor, South Carolina, is historically significant as the site where the first shots of the American Civil War were fired on April 12, 1861. The Confederate attack on the Union-held fort marked the official start of the conflict.